With yesterday's win, Cavs are a perfect 5-0 to start the season. Just the third time in franchise history that they've been off to a 5-0 or better start. The other times back in 1976-77, Miracle of Richfield era, 8-0 start, and then in the 2016-2017 year, that's the year after the NBA championship, they were 6-0. Let's welcome in Chris Fedor, Cavs beat reporter for the Plain Dealer, cleveland.com. Chris, when you watch, and you always watch this team, you've been at practice and everything, what stands out about these Cavs under Kenny Atkinson to you?
I think the thing that stands out to me is a level of belief in the things that they're trying to do on the offensive end of the floor. If we go back to a couple of years ago following that New York playoff series loss, members of the Cavs front office sat down with JB Bickerstaff and they said, look, it's great that we've got this premier defense in the NBA, and that's obviously the identity of this team. But you've got to find a way to make this offense with the talent that you have. You've got to find a way to make it more creative, more dynamic, less predictable, less reliant on the pick and roll. And JB wasn't able to do that. Like, there were points last year where it did look better and they were humming along. But once they got into a playoff environment, a 7-game series against both Orlando and Boston, the same problems that the Cavs had offensively, those existed and those were exposed by both Orlando and Boston. So when you look at the way that they're playing offensively, it's not only Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. Evan Mobley leads the team in touches. That's unheard of to think about on a team with Darius and Donovan, Paul dominant players. But that's the way that they've reconfigured this offense so that Evan's more involved, so that other guys are getting touches throughout the course of a possession, so that there's continuous movement. And I just think there's a belief in Kenny Atkinson's system and his offensive style, Dave, from the players of, look, if he encounters a problem or we encounter a problem, we're going to have the solutions for that. They believe in Kenny's ability to be adaptable. They believe in Kenny's ability to be forward thinking. And like I said, this is the kind of offense that suits the personnel that they have. And it's very, very player friendly, and they like it. And you're seeing one of the best offenses in the NBA through the first 5 games.
All right, and here backs that up. Here's some numbers that back that up. Cavs have already scored 130-plus points in 3 of their first 5 games this year. Cleveland had 4 games of 130 points plus all last year. Team record for 130-plus points games single season is 5. They did it twice, 16-17 and 17-18. Chris, again, I love that. It's a great stat. I think as important, they still play really aggressive and good defense.
That's the thing, Dave. Coming into this season, there were legitimate questions about, okay, that's great. You want to make all these changes on the offensive end of the floor. You want to play faster. You want to space the floor more. You want to go different stretches throughout the course of the game where Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley aren't out there together. Evan Mobley's on his own playing the center spot. All right, you want to take more threes. You want to push the pace, and that's going to lead to more possessions for the other team. That's going to lead to the team being able to run back at you before the defense gets set. So it's great that you want to make all these changes offensively, but what's that going to do to the defense? Can you do both? Can you be the kind of offense that you want to be with all of those different elements in it, while at the same time being the defense that you have shown yourself to be over the last 3-4 years, where you're top 10 in the NBA during that entire stretch? And that was the backbone and the foundation of this team. And I think they have blended these two identities. Think about this, Dave. Last year, the best defensive rating for any team in the NBA was the Minnesota Timberwolves at 108. Okay, they gave up 108 points per 100 possessions. The Cavs' worst defensive performance through the first 5 games, and you can sit there and you can say they haven't played anybody, and New York is not the New York that they're going to see probably when the playoffs roll around, and the Lakers are still working through some things. The worst defensive performance that they've had in the first 5 games is better than what the Minnesota Timberwolves finished with as a defense last year. So they are an elite defense, but they're also an elite offense. And the numbers bear it out. And obviously it's early into the season, but if they continue on this trajectory, and there are reasons to believe that the Cavs are going to get even better when they start figuring more things out and more time in this system and get Max Strus back, if you have a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense, history says that you are a legitimate championship contender. And that's what the Cavs are striving for. That's what they're talking about. And there is nothing that I have seen in these first 5 games that tell me the Cavs can't be that.